before we start, we go live on the video. I want to first of all thank my partner, my co-host today, Miss Katia. Kindly introduce yourself to our people. Miss Katia, you're going to be the co-pilot today. And it's proper for our people, those that haven't known you, to know what you're capable of.
Okay, my name is Katia Valino. It's a big privilege for me to be co-hosting this show today with you. I am Nigerian Canadian based blogger and YouTuber.
Tell our people, let them have a little bit of background of what you do. How long have you been doing this, and why did you start, and so on?
Oh, I have been a blogger for this summer will be 3 years, and then I joined YouTube about a year and a half ago.
Go ahead.
Yes, because the world is changing and revolving. A lot of people, not too many people have time to read right now. So everything is about video. So I have my own channel on YouTube, which is Katia Valino, where you can visualize what I do. I do mostly skincare and sex, marriage and relationship, which comes every Sunday on my YouTube channel. But on my blog, which is my website, you can get all the news from Canadian, American, mostly Nigerian news. So I call it entertainment, Nollywood, Hollywood website.
I want to say that was really in-depth. Thank you very much. It is proper that we go this route for our listeners, our viewers, to know who you are. We're live now on our YouTube, Facebook, and web TV. Of course, we're live on our radio. If you are listening on the radio side and you want to be part of this, you can as well just go on our page and listen. Now we have somebody that is a great man, and I want to hand it over to you to introduce him before he introduces himself. This is a man that I personally have followed, a man that, in my opinion, that is very unpopular till the result comes out, which I think is great. So, Kati, can you tell us about him?
Chidi, in this studio right now, we have Dr. Cadet Chidi Nwanyawu. For a lot of people who've been following in Nigerian news and also Canadian local news, Canada local news, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyawu is an ex-president of NCA, Nigerian Canadian Association, which originated from Toronto, Canada. He was the president for 4 years, 2 tenors. Am I right?
I believe it was 2 years.
Okay, 2 years. But it seems like it's been a lot, right? Because you're all over the place, including city halls and so many things, traveling just to try to make things work. Anyway, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyawu is an ex-president of Nigerian Canadian Association. He has touched a lot of lives. I know him through his foundation there. So we have him here today in the studio. Perhaps he can help more to elaborate who he is. Welcome to the studio, Dr. Chidi Cadet Nwanyawu.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Katia Valino. Thank you, Kenny Bass.
We're humbled to have you, sir.
Having me on this program. I am actually not a visitor to this studio.
Correct.
This is our studio, as you know it. Well, for the benefit of our listeners, as Katia Valino has said, my name is Chidi Cadet Nwanyawu. I have a PhD in philosophy, so that's why the Dr. Chidi in it. I am also a trained architect. I have a master's degree in architecture, and then I'm a business person. I am a minister of the gospel also. So that's all I can say about myself now.
Thank you.
Wow, that's just like a lot. I thought Katia is busy, but what's the record?
No, there's so many other things, but I'd like to start from here because I'm also, I own about 4 companies.
Wow.
And, I'm a contractor, I'm a media personality, I'm a vlogger, I'm a blogger.
Yes.
And well, let's just start.
Wow.
Wow, oh wow.
All right.
You know, I want to dive in with this, Katia, but any time you can always jump in. We're going to go back and forth.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself let's concentrate on Nigeria now.
Okay.
Who are you in Nigeria? Which part of Nigeria are you from?
Okay, I'm an Igbo person. I'm from Umuago village in Ozala, which is in Kano West local government of Enugu State of Nigeria. That is my background in Nigeria.
Wow, that's amazing. And can you take us through, how long have you been in Canada and what really brought you into Canada in the first place?
You know, it's amazing. I came to Canada in 2007. I had a successful business in Nigeria. I was running an architectural building company. I had my office in Asokoro, and I was also the project architect for Royal Family Academy that built the Family Worship Center. It was a 500 million naira project then. But my wife, being a Canadian citizen, after we got married, she wanted us to relocate, which was like a big devastation for me because I was going to close down my company. I had over 50 workers and I had a lot of clients, but she convinced me to come with her to Canada, and so we closed shop and we relocated to Canada. She sponsored me.
Oh wow, greener pasture.
Yeah,
right?
But I don't
Wow.
regret it. I don't regret it.
Wow, I'm amazed. I'm
Me
amazed.
too.
That's the power of women. you know?
Yes,
That's the power of women.
women are the boss.
Yeah, but since coming to Canada, share
Yeah.
with us at the initial, let's say the first 1 year, what was your experience?
Oh my God, first 1 year was a big shock. You know, like every other immigrant, you suffer that cultural shock. You know, a few things that I used to relate with my first time in Canada. I remember going into a Tim Hortons shop, and I was hungry really, and I was standing in the line, and I was asking the lady said, "What do you want?" And I said, "I want that cake." And I was pointing at the cake, and the lady was like, "Please, we don't have cake here." And I was so, with my frustration of everything, I wasn't driving, I was being in the car and subway. I said, "I want that cake." She said, "We don't sell cake here." I just flew off. I said, "Are you being racist? You've been selling this to people."
Wow.
And then the manager came and said, "What's the problem?" I said, "This lady, there's cake here and she doesn't want to sell cake to me." I said, "Sir, which one?" I said, "Sir, that's a muffin, not cake." I said, "Oh, sorry. Where I come from, we call it cake." And then there were so many other things.
So let's drive through the business arena now. Katya, you can jump in at any time.
Okay.
As a businessman that have to close your business
Yeah.
or businesses in Nigeria,
Yeah.
what kind of shock did you find out when you come here as a business person?
When I came here as a business person, it wasn't easy to break even. No construction. The system of construction here was different from Nigeria. In Nigeria, we built with concrete blocks and cement. Here, they built with wood and what do you call it? And drywall. So, and I didn't have that kind of money to go start training, and we needed to hit the ground running. We needed to make money. So, in order to get training, I joined Habitat for Humanity, and I volunteered for free. So, while I volunteered for free, I was also attending the newcomer program at JVS. So, from going to the place and volunteering free, I was able to learn their style of building. And but from that, also, I joined the construction team. I was laying tiles in the construction company. I did everything. I was cleaning. I was doing drywall. I was in the moving industry, helping to move. I did all kinds of odd jobs in the factory.
Wow.
Just to make it until after learning the system, I and my wife will now open our own company. That was like after 3 months of being here. And it's
Just 3 months.
Yeah, I would
Wow.
like to quickly tell you how we opened our company. I went to work, and when I came back after one day, my body was shaking. I was so much shaking. I was in pain. We went to the emergency. They looked at me. They said nothing was wrong with me. I was rolling on the floor. The doctor said nothing was wrong with you. We went home. I went to my doctor the next day, a family doctor. I said, "Chidi, you know what? You're suffering from clinical depression." I said, "What? Why? Me?" I came back, I told my wife, "I'm no longer working. Everything has changed." I said, "What is happening to me? Who are we?" So I said, "We need to go back to who we were." That same day, we went to Valley Village. We bought this pinafore, you know, that jean one. We bought pinafore, we bought t-shirts, second hand. We came, we washed it at the laundry, we dried it, we went on Kijiji, we put no, we applied for a company, registered a company online, and then we went and posted on Kijiji that we were into all kinds of jobs. The first job we got was a cleaning job. We didn't have a car, we drove there with a bicycle that we bought $10 from the supervisor in an apartment. That was the first job we did, and from that day we never worked for anybody till today.
Wow, that's amazing. You know what? Can you say, like, when you put all these things together,
Yeah.
can you say that gaining the strength and the power to be the leader,
Yeah.
that all these things that you just mentioned right now
Yeah.
got you prepared to being a leader? Because I know that you were also the president of Enugu State. Is that how it started? Like, have you always seen yourself as a leader, or is it like when Canada opened the door for you, like you were able to learn the experience to work with other people, to really test cultural shock? Will you like put everything together to say that all these things made you prepared to become the president of Enugu Association, and then to dive into being or becoming the president of Nigerian Association? Can you please lead us through?
Okay, thank you, Catevelino. My escapade, my experience in leadership started all the way back to, growing up. I've always known myself to be somebody who wants to get things done. I'm always like, I'm action oriented. Most times it gets me into trouble because when people are still planning, I'm like, let's start doing it. So in primary school, I would organize our friends, and if somebody said we don't play their ball, I would say, let us leave that ball. Let's use orange to play football. Catevalino knows me all the way back to my childhood. She knows the kind of person I was an action person. I got into trouble. But in secondary school, I was a member of the senior debating society at DMGS. I ended up being a prefect, a light prefect in our school. I also became a member of the cultural dance troupe. Then leaving secondary school, I also became the president of the ASEC. I've forgotten what they're called now. But I was the president of that association. Then when I came to the university, I was into various leadership positions there too. I don't want to bore you with all that. When I ended up in Abuja, that's when my leadership skills were really groomed at Family Worship Center under Pastor Enole Gomaku, who is late now, but that church was a leadership-based church. So they trained you on how to be a leader. He believed that everybody in the church has to be a leader. You have to be working in ministry. Wow. So that's where it's not one thing I can compliment for whatever leadership skills I've gained, but everything, all my experiences growing up, some hard times that I had, growing up, some tough situations I've had to be in, they all just combine to really help me achieve whatever I achieved as a leader.
Okay, that sounds good. I also know that you're a pastor, or I don't know, is it something that you also learned growing up? Like you were talking about in Abuja, how the pastor trained you guys and stuff like that. Is this also something that led you or opened the door or the avenue for you? Sorry, but I just want to touch a little bit on the being a pastor, religious aspects of your life. Just a little bit. I hope I'm not boring you guys.
No, the thing there is, you see, my style of evangelism, or my style of ministration is a lifestyle ministration. I don't like carrying it all over the place. I know a lot of people who have said, Chidi, you're not Jim. You don't preach in gym. They even doubt the fact that I'm a pastor, but I'm a pastor. I'm a minister of the gospel. In fact, actually, that's why the doctor is actually Reverend. I should be answering Reverend Dr. Chidi. But the thing there is, when I gave my life to Christ, way back in Asuka, way back in Boko when I was in youth service. Before then, I had been. We'll talk about that another day. My former life before I became born again, but I gave my life to Christ. I trained. I became a minister in Family Worship Center as care group leader, then later a coordinator of care groups. and then later on, you just continue to grow in the ministry and win souls to Christ. You know, I am also a worshiper. I sing in the choir, and I have a gospel album, as you know. So I reach people as much as possible. But what I used to drag people to Christ is I want them to look at my lifestyle and be able to say, there's something about this guy. And as they draw close to me and I get an opportunity to minister to them, I minister to them.
That's awesome.
No, what I want to ask is that how do you tie being a leader to a religious person?
Okay, because for you to be a minister, you are actually a leader, either a deacon or that is a position of leadership. Because even in the Bible, it enumerates what is expected of a deacon, where it says a deacon is to be a husband of one wife, not a drunk, not so many things. So those are the qualities that makes you a leader. So it is actually of great benefit to you when you have some religious background. But you know, people abuse these things, as we know. You know, I'm also on the case of Nigerian pastors who misbehave. So being a religious person or being a minister is no guarantee that you'll be a good leader, right? But it is a good step towards making you a good leader, because all your training is about how to be a shepherd of people, how to lead people.
I'm going to take you back to Canada now. I want us to talk about the other aspect now,
Okay.
which is being, you introduce yourself as someone that is in the media too, right?
Yeah.
So why do you went into the media? Why do you do what you do? We're going to go into the leadership more now, but
Yeah.
let's talk about the media side of it now.
Okay.
I see you're very active in the media, and I won't say you're very controversial, but you're very active in the media. And so, what do you do? What do you do?
Actually, controversy is good for the media business, so you can say that. Well, as an architect, okay, you are exposed to the arts, you're exposed to creativity. We do a lot of. I'm also an artist, so I'm a very good artist. I can paint portraits that replicate the person. So that skill, combined with my architectural skills and my photography skills, made me, go into. Actually, let me tell you what. I went into media because when I was in school, it was difficult to get by. So I had to support myself. So right there in school, those of you that went to University of Nigeria, I had the Hard Knock Design group from my year one. I put a poster out there in the main hall because, let me just go back a little bit. When I was going to school, there was no money, and my mother told me to wait till there was money to go back. So, Mommy, as long as I've seen my name, I'm going to school. I just packed my bag and ended up in school. I didn't even have money to pay for tuition. I just asked my friend and they spotted me. I went around and I saw people carrying Valentine card. I was there in January, towards the middle of January. I said, what is this? It says Valentine card. I said, how much? They told me how much. I said, I can make this now. I went, used money to go and buy. In fact, I advertised that I can make the cards without having money. So when the people now paid me advance, and I went across the gate of our school, front gate, went and bought cards, and that's how I started making customized cards, started making money, started making pictures. So that was the beginning of my media thing. And then as I now came to study architecture, I went into modeling, I went into making clothes, I went into so many aquarium, and I was doing it for other students. When I left school, I just continued in the media business.
Wow.
Actually, let me tell you something. Kelechi Amadiobi, Zulu, the number one photographer in Nigeria, we're all schoolmates. We all used to play with camera and photography and experiment. So
now, the reason I brought this up is that I want to touch that area first before we go into the main call while we're sitting here today, which I believe that a lot of people at home are eager to hear that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of controversy that has happened. I mean, I used to follow you on YouTube.
Yeah.
At some point, I saw that the YouTube was down for some reasons, and then it's back up now, and so on. What really happened? Can you explain to us what happened, or what happened before that happened?
Okay, good. You see, the thing is, I wear so many hats, okay, and sometimes they conflict, and it's difficult for you to really separate them. The lines are too blurred between being one thing at a time and being the other thing at a time. I'm the director of Worship Media, which is into media, photography, videography, YouTube, Twitter, and all that. And I had a YouTube channel way before I became the president of NCA. Now, when I became the president of NCA, we tried to use everything to project NCA, and your humble self was so instrumental in helping us to get out there. And so, while I was president of NCA, we did a lot to try to defend the rights of anybody who was in Toronto, in the GTA. Mm-hmm. So when I heard that a young lady, Stephanie Otobo, was having issues with an Apostle Suleiman Johnson in Nigeria, I initially I ignored it. It wasn't a big deal to me. But then I now saw them mention that she lives in Toronto. And I was like, wow, this is one of us. She lives in Toronto and this is happening. Then I got more interested. Then I saw her do a video that, oh, I'm back here in Toronto. And I said, no, we got to get to this lady. And I made a call to her lawyer. The rest is history. But in trying to give her a voice through my media platform, of course, before I did the interview, I sought the consent of the NCA Toronto Board of Directors. I texted them and I said, I want to do this interview with this young girl. I'm doing the interview as Worship Media, but when I'm doing the interview, I'm going to also be making reference to the fact that I am the Nigerian Canadian Association Toronto president. And they said, go ahead. So with their permission, I did that interview. Of course, Katia Velino was grateful.
You can weigh on this.
Gracious. let me Katia Velino was gracious enough to join in the interview. You also, Kenny, you provided a lot of information that helped me. I'm so grateful for that. But that interview was so explosive that I know what happened. Our YouTube channel rose to over 10,000 or close to 10,000. And all of a sudden, they started sending out messages, started spamming us, and eventually YouTube had to bring us down. So we know that's what brought us down. But we are back again. Worship Media is back again. By the way, go and subscribe to Worship Media on YouTube.
Yes. But Katia, what was your experience having that interview? Because one might see that interview as a community service, or another person from the eye can see it as being like a rebel. Somebody actually was saying something is along the line of Antichrist. So it was very controversial, and more controversial because of your position. So what's your way on that, on those comments?
Yes, I was one of the people that interviewed Stephanie Otobo, but I don't think that this interview really is more to talk about Stephanie and the interview and stuff like that. People are waiting to know about Nigerian community presidents, but I'm just going to touch a little bit on that. Being a woman on the limelight, I know that when you come to Canada or Toronto and talk about blogger or whoever, women in the media industry, you talk about Katia Velino and Chidi being a family of mine. We are brother and sister. And me being there for women, I am there, advocate, a voice for women. Growing up in Nigeria, I can tell you that I have an idea of what Stephanie went through, and Chidi, knowing that I am that kind of person that was raised in Nigeria and a voice for women, when he contacted me and gave me a little bit of information of what was going on, hey, I did not hesitate, because I really, really wanted to get an insight of that story, to really see what was going on, to be the voice, the master speaker or the voice speaker for the women who are also or always being marginalized, that they don't have voice.
One thing I know that I can say, no matter what you do, if you're having in mind that you're going to please everybody, you're going to fail.
Oh, definitely.
You have, as long as you put it out there,
yeah,
you're going to have different kinds of opinion.
Yeah.
So on my own perspective, my own opinion, it's always great for somebody to put something out there. At least it can generate all opinion. And so you are so correct. It's not, we're just trying to clear the air before we get to the main thing. And when I was talking to him from some of the messages, he did approve that we can bring that up. and that's why I brought it up slightly.
No, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
Let me just say this, that we don't regret going into that Stephanie Otobo's thing. What I know that everybody knows the truth. I'll just leave it at that. We succeeded in giving people, making people know the truth, and we think they know the truth. That everybody just deal with it in their own way, but we don't regret it.
Thank you very much. Having said that, let's go back to your current position. You can chip in at any time if you have anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, some people are sending me questions on my phone, and if you can see, that's exactly what I'm looking at. Oh, can you ask him this? Can you ask him that? So is that okay if I go ahead?
Sure.
I'm not going to call people's name, but we have like few questions here. Somebody said you were a president of the organization for 2 years. Briefly, what would you say was your singular greatest influence in the organization?
You know what I would say, Katia? That's a very good question. I'm glad it's written. Let us first of all find out why he chose
to be the
president, how, and then we can go into the question segment.
Okay.
That way, maybe that question will be answered, why he's explaining, and so on.
Okay, thank you. Why I chose to go into being the president of NCA, it was a mixture of things. First of all, when I came to Canada, after about 2 years of my stay in Canada, I was at a meeting of Enugu State Association, and of course I don't like to just not participate. So I was giving my input. I was participating as much as I could. My wife was also participating, even with her pregnancy and all that. And when it was time for election, I asked people, so what are we doing about the election? Because the president then has done his term. And they were like, there's somebody who just wanted him to be president. And I said, why do you want the president to be president? They said, now I think he wants it. Let's just give it to him now. I said, no. What is the person's plan? What's their vision for the association? I said, we don't know, but let's just give it to him. I said, no, that's wrong. We should try to have a plan. We should try to have a vision. So I said I would like to contest because I think there are things I can do for Enugu State Association. And they said, yeah, go ahead. So I indicated interest. I won the presidency. And I think, well, it's out there for people to judge, but I did my best with the team that we had then, Dr. Emeka Okolo and the rest of them. We did the best. We brought government officials from Nigeria to Canada. We did a big symposium and convention at Sheraton Hotel, a big event. We revitalized the Enugu State Association. Now, from being a member of Enugu State Association, I had people who were supposed to be representing Enugu State Association in NCA. So when they were not forthcoming, people are busy, so people didn't have time. And I queried them. I said, why are you guys not going to the meeting? And one of them was like, listen, my friend, you're the president. Why don't you go there and be representing us? Why must you send people? I said, okay, I think we should be there. It's important that we're there. So I started attending NCA. And then when I got there, I started making input. And when the opportunity came,
to view more of this interview, I'll be leaving a link at the bottom of this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to Chidi. Bye.